Today, chess kids, we're going under the sea for some underpromotion. Underpromotion is just an add-on to the word promotion. Now, when your chess coach first taught you about promotion, he or she probably mentioned that you're allowed to get something besides your queen. Then he or she probably quickly followed up by saying, but I really always want you to get the queen. Well, today we're going to look at the exceptions. You have to be a really smart chess kid to understand them. And you might only get to use this idea once or twice in your whole life. Let's make sure you're ready if it happens. Underpromotion means when you get a pawn to the other side, but you choose not to get a queen. You have to have a very specific reason. The first reason would be if you want a piece that has a power besides the queen. Well, that's really only the knight. The second reason to get an underpromotion is if you're trying to avoid stalemate. And the third reason is just to be fancy, but we're not going to talk about any of those reasons today. In our first position here, you can see as white, if your pawn advances and becomes a queen, it looks like an equal game, but oh no, as black, the queen can swoop all the way down here, and although you can block with your queen, it's going to be back rank mate. Let's go back though. What else could we have promoted to that has a different power than the queen? Well, I'm sure you realize the knight is the place to be here, because the knight forks the king and the queen, and of course, black can't checkmate you if he's in check himself. When his king moves, we will eat that queen, and if you play correctly, you should be able to win this ending. In our next example, this one comes from a real chess game. Black looks like he's completely lost. There are 3 passed pawns, and as you now know, knights are not very good at guarding both sides of the chessboard. We talked about that in our bishop versus knight endgame video. Here, black, though, should not give up because he has this really neat trick, knight f5. White's pawn, of course, is in danger, and white has to advance it. If white's pawn advances to a queen, do you see what black will do next? I bet you do. If we get a queen, the knight will come into the square e7 and fork us, and then the knight will only have to deal with 2 pawns, and in fact, with both those pawns being on the same side of the board, black's probably going to be able to make a draw. In the game, though, white was too smart. White saw the fork coming, and instead he promoted to a knight, which of course stops the fork. Now the game's far from over. It's knight and 2 pawns versus knight. Another 25 moves were played, which I don't have the time to show you. Instead, we're going to fast forward all the way to this position. That's right, white slowly got his pawns up the board, and he played the move a6 check, trying to force the black king away, and black had another trick. The king did not blockade the c pawn. Instead, he ran away to a7. Now, what's the trick? Well, it's the same thing. If we promote to a queen, there is yet another fork. So this is unbelievable. It's incredible. But white actually promoted to a knight for the second time in the same game. Yes, a real chess game, chess kids. Okay, the king ran away, and now white can win with his 1 remaining pawn. He needs to make sure that pawn does not get blockaded or captured. He played this tricky move, king b6. Now, if the knight on c8 gets captured, the pawn on a6 can run free. So instead, black played the move knight to d6, very tricky offering a knight like this, but white just ignored black and played a7 check. Of course, if you take the knight, now we're going to promote to a queen. Yeah, we don't get a third knight. That'd be silly. And if the king runs the other way, we actually get to mate with 2 knights. That'd be a really fun way to finish a chess game. On to our third position. Knights are not the only pieces that you might want to underpromote to. Remember, we said that another reason to underpromote is to avoid stalemate. As you can see very plainly here, as white, if we make a queen, black has no moves and it's stalemate. You can actually promote to really anything here, although most grandmasters would almost certainly choose a rook because it is the next highest value piece. And of course, it's not stalemate because when the king runs away, that b7 square is not being attacked. We can save our rook here, and by now, I'm sure you know how to checkmate with a king and a rook. Of course, you could also take the a pawn and get a promotion later on. On to our next position. This is the end of a very famous position. So famous it even has a name. Whoa. It's called the Saavedra position. I've skipped over the beginning to show you the end. In this position, it's a rook fighting against a pawn, but it's white to move. Now it looks like it's time for white to go ahead and make a queen. After all, black was threatening to make a fork here on c4. But if we make a queen, black has a devilish way here to make a forced stalemate. Do you see the trick that black was waiting for? Black was waiting to play rook to c4, forking king and queen. Of course, you have to capture or you lose your queen, but upon doing so, it is stalemate. Let's go back. You might wonder, how could white possibly win? Well, the next best option is to promote to a rook. Rook versus rook is a draw 99% of the time. But remember, chess kids, promoting to a queen is the right promotion 99% of the time. We're looking at the exceptions today. This is the rare 1%. White is winning because of the poor placement of the black king. We're threatening to give a little sideways checkmate here. And if black decides to stop it with rook to a4, his only reasonable chess move, white can play king b3, which simultaneously attacks the rook and threatens a proper back rank mate. Black cannot stop both threats. Pretty neat there. First, we underpromote to a rook, and then we actually win rook versus rook, a couple of extreme rarities. At this point in the video, you might be thinking, Fun Master Mike, rooks and knights, I get that, but what about the bishop? Is it ever needed to promote to a bishop? Well, this is really, really rare. This is probably rarer than a comet streaking across the earth. In this position, we're going to see it happen, though. It looks like white's winning because white's passed pawn has a free path to the other side. But black has this trick. Black is going to bury his own king. And look what's happening here. Black has successfully gotten his king without a whole lot of squares. Let's go through the options. If we promote to queen, it is stalemate. Let's try again. If we promote to rook, well, this time it's still stalemate. The rook and the queen's power is similar enough in this position. If we promote to a knight, the problem is that the knight is very bad about getting to the other side of the board. You may not believe me, but the black king is actually going to be able to make a long run over and pick off the a-pawn. So the correct move here is actually to promote to a bishop, because the bishop does an excellent job of guarding white's remaining pawn. Here's how the game would likely finish. Black would move his king. Then you can play a move like bishop to e6, so the king can't return. And when black pushes his pawn, just play a waiting move. And notice here black has to move his king. And when he does, we can eat this pawn. And if he tries to run back, we're going to be able to gobble up the next pawn. And after gobbling the h-pawn, white's king can run all the way over to the other side of the board. And although we don't have time to describe it here, you have to trust Fun Master Mike. It is a winning endgame for white. Well, there you have it, chess kids. Promoting to a queen is the right move most of the time. But watch out for stalemate. And also, watch out for the special power of the knight. Sometimes the knight's unique powers are more important than the queen.